G'day, I'm Ben from Catch Pro Australia, and today's episode of Lawn Care Skull Sessions is sponsored by Mower Merch.
Oh, just
.com.au.
Oscar.
I don't have anything to rep, but joining me is my co-host, the Bearded Lawnsman.
Kablamo.
How you going, my butter?
Yeah, good, man. I feel like I started out in like a Batman kind of vibe, like a whooshka, a kablamo. Maybe we need a kapow and a
Kazam!
gazingo or some shit by the end of the episode.
Oh, I need me some Catwoman.
Damn,
girl. Or bad girl, whatever.
Meow.
Let's have a trace'em.
A trace'em. Chicka tray.
So, man, what's happening?
Mate, it is fucking freezing this morning.
A little bit nippy.
Chilling on my willy for sure.
And it's been warm, like...
It has been.
Not early mornings or nights or anything. Like, they've still been, pretty cool. But during the day, it's been hot. Like, I was unloading some pallets and, like, I had the shirt off. I was sweating bullets, everything.
Yeah, I was talking to someone down in Adelaide yesterday and they were saying that their top was like 14 or something yesterday. It was raining and I was like, we could do with the rain though. That's something that's developed over the week. El Nino is back in town. So
what a slut, eh?
Fucking just rolls in and rolls out. Like a tongue in the bum. So yeah, that's a bit unfortunate for everyone who likes to watch grass grow. And
look, in regards to this weather cycle, look, I'm going to try and stay positive. Obviously, it doesn't affect Catch Pro as much as it affects the everyday contractor.
Yeah.
But like before COVID, the weather cycle was a little bit up and down, but I have videos on my phone of me doing some stuff with like a Cox mower and it literally looks like the paddock has been poisoned. Like it is yellow and it looks crusty underfoot. And we've been, really over blessed since that time.
Yeah.
Now in Brisbane at the moment, everything is still green.
It is.
It's just a little dormant, which is normal.
And I'm sure it's the same around the country. So I'm not really seeing any of the effects now, but I'm guessing it's moving forward into, this upcoming season and the season after, and maybe even the season after that. I know that Melbourne's had pretty good rainfalls. Obviously Adelaide, I was just mentioning. Someone posted the other day, it's not very often we see, it was Michelle. In not Kalgoorlie.
Is that Wilson?
Yeah, where's she, buddy?
Somewhere.
Is it Kalgoorlie?
Somewhere northwest.
In the middle of fucking nowhere.
I don't know. I thought she was like a Sydney girl.
No.
I realised she recently bought some stuff off Catch Pro. Thank you very much.
Actually,
and that's when I realised she was in the middle of fucking nowhere when her shipping was like $10,000.
Jeez, man! Like, because I actually spoke to her on TikTok of all places. I don't do a lot on TikTok.
I hate TikTok.
I love TikTok for watching funny shit.
Well, I can't. So my kids really love TikTok, so I've got to keep my algorithm sweet, because if you go on my Instagram for longer than a minute, you'll want to go and have a wank. Like, it is just...
Pictures of me every 5 seconds, mate.
It is... I have ruined my Instagram because I use it for work.
Yeah.
And it's just so many women getting undressed.
I noticed the same thing because we're both admin on the Lawn Care Skull Sessions page. I noticed a lot of the same things starting to pop up. So maybe because we're both linked.
So my initial thought about that was, oh hell yeah, I'll use my, because Vicky gets all my notifications through Catch Pro.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, if I use the Skull Sessions page, then I can follow all these babes, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just you that sees it, whatever.
That's it.
But mate, I just find it too disruptive switching between accounts.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I just be a perv on the Catch Pro account.
I'm not gonna lie. There's one on there. I don't know if you like it. It's like some curvy fitness chick. Jesus, she's built like a fucking tank.
I don't like strong girls.
Muscles on muscles on muscles.
I don't like strong girls.
I know.
I don't like girls that would be stronger than me. People will probably think, oh, that's sexist, but I'm allowed to like what I like. I don't.
Yeah, I get it.
Like, they might be pretty or something, but I don't find it sexually attractive.
Yeah.
Someone who could bash me.
You don't want to be held down.
No. So
Just fucking.
Don't really know what else to say about this.
Yeah, mate. If you're not into getting pegged, you're not into getting pegged. It's neither here nor there. How about yourself? How's your week gone?
Well, it's been a really quick week, and we've been running a sale.
Yep.
As everyone's hearing this, the sale will have ended, but mate, the sales they just bring everyone out the woodworks.
Oh yeah.
And what I love about it is the sale helps us to get rid of some other less popular items.
Yep.
Like Incredibottles and, it's like some of that niche stuff that not everyone needs or wants. And that 10%, really just...
Gets it over the line.
Makes me wonder why I don't just have a constant 10% on some of those items. But it's just business thing, can't do it. But, no, it's been good. It's been good. Me and Vicky have been hooking in.
Yeah.
But it's sports carnival week for the kiddos.
Woo!
So I kind of been back and forth to the school trying to be supportive.
Yeah.
The Van der Geesens have been full rocking it.
Van der Geesens?
Twins have been fucking dominating in every event.
Nice.
And then no one really knows this, but I've got a nephew.
Yeah.
At the school. He's just like the biggest dude ever. He's 10.
Yeah.
And he's just huge. And he's always kind of been he doesn't know his size.
Yeah.
But he's kind of grown into it a little bit. I think he's 11 now. And he did shot put and broke the school record by a whole meter. Just
That's
fucking
awesome.
Launched it, eh?
Oh man.
So it was really cool.
Bet your mum and dad are proud. We're actually doing a bit of a sports thing this weekend too. Tomorrow we're heading up to Sunshine Coast. Chloe's got state finals for cheer and aerobics and hip hop. So that's going to be good. She's got all of her cheer and aerobics, which is 4 out of her 5 dances, all on one Sunday. So we've got Friday, and then she's got one dance on Saturday. So I think I'm going to take the young fella fishing for the first time, which will be an experience because holding a 3-year-old boy's attention is a lot harder than holding a fucking 3-year-old girl's attention. He is just...
Yeah. So when you say hip hop dance, can she crip walk and shit or?
Fuck, man, I was so... Because I love watching her do hip hop because she's got a fucking attitude. She does it really well. And, man, she can bust out some moves.
But can she crip walk?
I don't know. I mean, if you show her, she will. Maybe Uncle Benny can come around for a fucking.
That's kind of more
dance.
That's kind of more gangster than.
Yeah, but I've seen him crip walk and stuff on because I go to heaps of the dance things and some of the older kids fucking really. It's good to watch.
When they bash someone from a rival gang and then they crip walk on their bandanas.
Yeah, they're just fucking see you later.
All right.
No, but it should be good, man. I'll go up there and put my feet up.
I have a couple of apologies to send out. One being to Jared Summer.
Yeah.
Last week on the thread we did the Q&A thread, and we were reading the thread off the computer. Right now, computers, they're a little bit challenging to the bearded lawnsman and myself.
Yeah.
And we had no idea that we missed a couple of questions. So we're going to double back.
Let's do it.
Ultimately, I've lost the fucking thread again. Ultimately, if the question was, not great, we probably wouldn't double back. But the couple of questions that we did miss were actually kind of cool. So,
did you mention at the start that we are the most unprofessional podcast in the world?
Look, I didn't mention in today's episode, but I was talking to our pod brother, Gazza Ashton.
Yeah.
And he doesn't think we're that unprofessional.
Oh.
And he reckons we should stop, that shouldn't be our gimmick. But
maybe we should stop all the cock and dick and suck and fucking jokes and just get on with it. Maybe we can be the professional podcast that everybody thinks we can be.
I don't think we can. You know why?
Because I just said cock and dick and suck and fucking.
Because even today, we don't even really know what we're talking about yet. But we're getting there now.
We're only 5 minutes in. We got plenty of time.
Now, Andy Doro, I can't remember. I just don't think we read this question, but it's a great question. For you both, what makes your company better than the competition? And what is your biggest challenge in what you're doing currently. Now, BJ, let's start with you. Let's circle back to this one. What sets TBL property maintenance apart from the competition? Does it set you apart?
It doesn't, because I don't know the ins and outs of other people's businesses, so I can't 100% sort of say yay or nay. But I think when it comes to what helps me stay quite, relevant in the markets that I'm looking at is me. And I know that sounds like I'm the biggest fucking dickhead saying that I think I'm the difference, but I think the way I communicate with my clients, I think that kind of sort of sets us apart. I'm very personal. I know a lot of people like business and personal stuff stay separate, but
not me. I pash all my clients.
Dude, me too. Like I've got a bruise on the back of my throat from getting this new contract happening. No, you got
right when I was inhaling too. All right. Well, spin-off question.
Yeah.
Let's put this into perspective. Now, obviously, BJ runs TBL property maintenance, but I feel like this question can relate to your ambassadorship with Skag Down Under. Now, obviously there's no other Skag ambassadors, but there are other brand ambassadors out there.
Yeah.
What makes you different to other ambassadors?
Look, I think maybe because I'm honest and, I share the fuck-ups in my business as well as the triumphs. I'm passionate about the products that I really, get behind.
And that fucking matters too, guys.
It does.
You see some other people out there, I don't mean to cut you off, Beach.
No, go for it.
Like, there's people out there, we all have short memories as well, but that shit is it's on hard file. Like, you can go on social media and you can see what people have done before.
100%.
And I'm not pointing at anyone in Pacific. But you can see some influential people, ambassadors. They've brand hopped.
Some of the biggest in our industry have gone from marketing their whole business around one brand and have jumped onto another. And
it's business.
It's business, and if you don't know the circumstances, if one business isn't supplying you, or it is it's a give and take sort of thing. If one business isn't looking after you, then you're within your rights to go and try with someone else who has offered you something better. But that's where you kind of got to look back at what you've said.
Yeah,
and then
because my issue with it is I get the whole business side of it, and if let's say you're doing something for a company and then a different company says, hey, we really want you and we'll give you X amount more or whatever it is, that's the business side.
Yeah.
What sucks about it is that you have the audience that you've built up can be left feeling not really that confident in whatever they've purchased.
Yeah.
Because that brand ambassador has now moved away from it.
Yeah.
So that's what's tough about it. But going back to the question, what separates you from other ambassadors? I think it's just your charisma.
Oh.
And people can sort of say, there's, in some, entertainment streams, you can't quite, put your finger on what it is that person has.
Yeah.
It's just it. You know what I mean? And it's charisma.
Yeah.
I think you have lots of it.
I don't see it, but I'm glad that other people do. Or else I wouldn't.
There's no way that you would have brands. Oh, look, for everyone out there, right? Now, this dude is Skag through and through, and you're doing a little bit of work with Bush Ranger with the handhelds. And you've worked with some other brands, but I have private conversations with a lot of other brands who are like, do you think we can get BJ to ride for us? And I was like, look, I really don't. I really don't think that's going to happen. They all respect it.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, they,
look, we've spoken, and obviously you know what, it takes, and yeah, man, I'm
I think the passion is the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Skag's my jam.
So, building on this question, what's your biggest challenge in what you're currently doing? Whether that be TBL, whether it be SCAG, whatever it is.
Yeah. And I think I've mentioned.
No, I'm asking you a question.
Oh yeah, and I'm about to fucking answer it, mate. If you just let me, Jesus Christ. No, look, I think I've mentioned it before. Motivation is my biggest challenge.
Did we read this question? Because I remember that answer.
No, I think it's another one. No, it's fine. I answered basically the same fucking question the other day on. I was on Luke's podcast, so.
All right, should we give him a plug while we're here?
Yeah, fucking why not?
Australian Lawn and Garden Industry Podcast. Did I get that right? Look, I don't mean any disrespect, but
maybe you should abbreviate it.
It's just a fuckload of names.
Yeah. He's fucking putting his finger in every pie I can get into.
Algorithm Baby. So the latest.
I didn't even think of that.
Are you the latest episode?
Yes, I think I am.
Jump on it. You can listen to it all your favourite sexy platforms and on YouTube if you want to see the shit in person.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Yeah, it was good. It was good, and then got a little bit soppy at the end, which was good. But no, it was a good interview. Luke's a cool dude, and yeah, he's got a good setup there. A bit jealous.
Now, should I answer this question for me as well?
Yeah, I think definitely it applies to KH Pro as well.
So, what makes us different to the competition? Well, look, I think the biggest thing that will make Catch Pro different is that we really are going to be there for the contractor.
Yeah.
People, they have my direct number. They text me. I don't always know who I'm speaking to, but I do my best. They can get me virtually on like 4 different platforms.
Yeah.
They reach out to me for not just equipment and accessory advice, but like business advice.
Yeah.
Which I don't love because we sort of are winging it our way through business with a completely different philosophy to someone like a Luke Smith, or a Gary Ashton that are a little bit more thought out. But really, what sets us apart is that we are going to work really hard at shipping that product, that order, and responding to any spare parts or breakdowns or anything like that. We're really going to be there within reason.
Yeah. I think innovation too, man. You should throw that in there. I think what you do behind the scenes with developing and things like that and it's most of the products that you are developing have been specific to contractors because you've been there. You kind of know what contractors need. So
look, and not only that. In terms of our competitors, we're really I think we're probably competing against Green Touch, landscape tools. I think what sets us apart different to the competition there, even though we offer a very similar product, is that I'm putting myself out there in the public eye.
Yeah.
So I'm doing demonstration videos. I ran this stuff in my business. Using other influential people as customers to provide content to get everyone a little bit more familiar with the product.
Yeah.
And we're really building relationships with other people in the industry as well that we don't see as competitors. People like, let's say Power Up, for example, we have crossover products to GA spares. And instead of being competitors, we're like, look, we have some crossover products here, but you guys have a whole side of, OEM stuff that you guys sell. And my products that don't cross over with yours, they go hand in hand with these products. Let's work together. It's a marketing dream, really.
Now, can I throw a quick sidebar in there? You actually put something up on LMCA last night, and it was pretty cool to do with the Mojack.
Yeah.
Were you just feeling that product out, like seeing if there would be a market?
Look, ultimately, that is an attachment for an existing product that we already have.
Yeah.
A workbench attachment. Look, we're probably going to bring it in anyway, just because it's already a made product.
Yeah.
That I can just import. But I really just wanted to sort of feel everyone out, like, and it was more from a volume perspective.
Yeah.
Do I bring in 10? Do I bring in 20? Do I bring in 50? And there's some good
Dude, it's a fucking slick product. I like it.
And look, I think that's also what sets Catch Pro apart as well, is that we're actively going to the audience
Yeah.
and asking them feedback for either product ideas or product feedback, or, you know, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think some people sometimes, if they're unhappy with a product, they are very conservative on social media. Like, okay, let's take the Darwin Grip, for example. Now, we know that the Darwin Grip was a great product, but it had its drawbacks.
Yeah.
And it just didn't seem like everyone was, you know, like really going out there and being like, hey, this either fell apart or this, you know, rah, rah. But that feedback is really important to Catch Pro.
Yeah.
And as long as it's worded the right way, like if someone goes on there and says, this is a fucking piece of shit, it was a rip-off, rah, rah, then like I'm going to respond.
Yeah.
But if people are like, oh, you know, I've had issues with this and this probably isn't the best, rah, rah, then we can actively take that feedback and build a better product.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is,
cool.
you know, the main goal. And as far as what's your biggest challenge in what you're doing currently, well, I made a $9,000 blade fuck up.
Yeah. I think you mentioned this last podcast too.
Yeah, so that's probably my biggest fuck up. That's a $9,000 cost price. So the retail, you know, is going to be a lot higher.
Fuck.
So that's probably my biggest fuck up at the moment. In terms of challenges, I think our biggest challenges are just continuing to stay relevant in the market.
Yeah.
You know, I believe we are relevant, but, you know, like, if you're not coming out with new stuff or not being innovative, you get old really quick. So that's always a challenge.
Even in regards to my content, like obviously for obvious reasons, like I dropped off for a while there and didn't do a lot of content, and I feel like I'm starting to build momentum again. But fuck, it's hard when and I know how hard you have to work. Like you post every day, you're interacting every day, and yeah, man, consistency. When people say consistency is the key, it really fucking matters. It really does, especially with social media and things like that. And I'm guessing when it comes to like your Facebook page, if it's a business page, I'm guessing it's pretty much the same because your algorithm is based off your content, isn't it?
Yeah, like you really have to, not only do you have to have good content, but yeah, I mean, consistency is key.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same in any marketing situation. Like social media will only take a contractor so far, right?
Yeah.
In actually picking up like high volume clients.
Yeah.
But if you do your social market, if you do that marketing there on those social platforms, like you really need to be like, you know, doing a Wicked Edge or, you know, like doing a real sexy cleanup or something that's really going to keep people interested.
That's it, yeah.
All right, now on to Jared Summer. Now, look, Jared, I'm sorry that we missed this because if there was like someone that we should have missed, it wasn't you.
That's it. Maybe
now, and not only that, it's a really great question. So, to Ben and BJ, you guys are mates, family, colleagues. You're always up in each other's faces. What's been the biggest point of conflict between you two? What do the Skull Sessions boys fight about? I might just jump in quickly here and say that, you know, BJ and I really don't fight at all.
No, I don't think so.
We do have very, very different points of view on certain equipment. And there is also some conflict between the brands that we're working with.
Yeah.
But we usually just find a way
I don't
to
think
sort of get around it. It does get a little awkward at times.
Yeah.
I think awkward is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
If that's to say it.
Look, one of my things is I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of character, and I think Ben takes people at face value a lot of the times.
I'm judgmental as fuck.
But you're not. Like, that's what... Fuck, we're going to fight. We're going to fight right now, cunt.
Look,
You are, yeah, but I feel like I know what people are going to do before they do it. So that's come up a few times. But we don't fight. Like, fuck. Even when we've been drinking when we were kids, never swung a punch, mate.
no, I'm good on the piss, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, with some of the skag stuff and, you know, some of the, you know, let's say right mowers, like, let's just get into a bit of, into some detail, right? So, when I was making my first push for stand-on mowers in the country, I didn't have a relationship with skag. In fact, it was a very bad relationship. Me and Rob really got off on the wrong foot. And BJ wasn't really quite in the scene yet.
Yeah.
And I noticed that right mowers had no distribution in Australia. So I'm just pegging away at... I did talk to Rob about it. I talked to SME about it. I talked to PLP. And I had several conversations with Cox Mowers. Eventually, Cox Mowers, they sat on it for a couple months. And in that time, all of a sudden, I got a relationship with Skag. I bought a Skag. BJ bought a Skag and became the ambassador. Then all of a sudden, Cox Mowers are like, fuck yeah, we're going to pull the trigger on this. And, hey, Ben, can you do some marketing for us? And, you know, what was really tough about that was that I couldn't abandon them.
Yeah.
Because it was my recommendation. And even though they pulled the trigger late, you know, I couldn't abandon them. And that was a little bit of a sore point for, you know, all the promoting that we were doing for Skag.
Yeah, and
so
it was like we went from working together to...
being instant competitors. Because not only that, then the KG Spartan came into the fold.
You were doing the Super S, the Ferris. You had all the little boppers in the same sort of, maybe like a year period?
Yeah,
You sort of got your hands on a lot of machines. And look, to be honest, I mentioned this in Luke's as well. It was really an advantage for me. And people are probably like, what the heck? But like, I got to demo everything. Like everything that you got, I got to play on, and I got to see where my point of view comes from for the Skag stuff. Comes from actually being on these machines and getting to play around on pretty much everything, and then. Yeah, but we don't fight. Like I think.
Yeah, look, I think there is also too much. Excuse me, too much baggage. You know, like we are family. Our kids are friends. Our wives are friends. Like it just wouldn't. You know, it'd just be such a disruption to our lives if I just if anyone's watching on YouTube, I've got the computer. I've got the computer here because we're gonna talk about some other equipment soon, and I've immediately gone to my Google history, and it's full explicit.
It's so explicit. Bet. I heard you say before you were pegging away at something, but goodness me.
Okay, now everybody, Skull Sessions audience, today.
G'day.
We are gonna do. A round 2 on battery equipment. Now, the reason for this is, I think episode 2 or 3 or some shit was like,
fuck.
I
think we're far enough into, like, we're on episode 90. This is 95.
Yeah.
We're so far into our episodes that I think we can backtrack because, honestly, we've
come a long way.
We were babies. Like, we had no idea what we were doing back in the day. I mean,
I wouldn't say...
Much, but we're still running the same.
I wouldn't say that we really know what we're doing now. Especially the way this fucking episode's unrolling. But
this has been an excellent episode.
But, look, at the moment, I've got the Greenworks lineup.
Yeah.
And it's, it's another one that's really tough for me because, obviously... I'm doing some work with Gravely now, and
I've got the fucking Bushranger stuff too.
And but look, this is such a different concept. This battery concept.
Yeah.
I absolutely love battery equipment, And I just think right now in 2023, as opposed to, whatever it was in 22 when we did our first battery episode, there is just so much more talk about it.
Yeah, huge. So many new products too.
So many new products, so many new brands.
Yeah.
The lineups are growing. Ego is doing all sorts of awesome shit.
Yeah.
So we're just going to backtrack and update everyone.
Yeah.
On stuff that we've used, things that are happening in the industry. Now, I do want to point out that, I love battery equipment, but, it's not to go green.
Yeah.
It's not, for me, it's not, it's just simply because I'm fucking sick of fuel. It's not to be, honestly, if the world was a girl, I'd stick my dick in the ground. Fuck the world. I don't care about the earth and the green and shit.
Yeah.
What about you, dude?
I'm pretty. I recycle.
No, but it's just I know someone.
Look, I do think there is room for improvement on everything that goes on in the world.
But it's not our responsibility, right?
Look, it's everyone's responsibility, and I know that sounds fucking corny, but realistically, if everyone did a small part,
dude, I'm not talking about littering.
Oh mate, I want to fucking cut people who anyone who fucking throws shit out of their car. You're a fucking piece of shit, and I hope you crash. What a fucking dog act to literally. I've seen someone throw a fucking full box of KFC out the window, and I think you're a fucking pig. And if I didn't love my truck so much, I'd fucking ram you, you dog.
Yeah, no, but I mean, what I'm really trying to say is there's people out there that are like, oh my gosh, why would you buy battery stuff when they cost X amount to mine it, and then you got to do all this other shit, rah. Look, a couple of people in Brisbane, right, are not gonna change that.
No, and look, they're valid points. There are things that fucking mining and things like that. But you just got to weigh up those things. I'm no fucking climate fucking expert, so I don't know. They don't even know. They don't even
these dudes that are tripping, man. They don't even know what the fuck is going on. With all this, it's just whatever is the latest thing. Remember COVID, and everyone's like, there's a pedophile ring, and they're locking us down to steal our children.
And you know what? I fucking totally get that, because last night I was cruising through. I follow this guy. He is awesome. It's what is it? Fucking something to do with it's a diet guy. It's EBT or something. And he calls everyone cunnies, and he's got 350. He's an Aussie guy, 350,000 followers. He's killing it. And he keeps bringing up all these things where dietitians are like, broccoli is bad for you because of this, vegetables are bad, cereal's bad, this is bad, and he's like, fucking calls you a fat cunt and all those sort of things. I really like it.
Yeah.
It really resonates with me and 350,000 other people. So I need someone to tell me I was fat.
Excessive amounts of anything are bad for you people.
That's it, except for blowjobs.
Oh, that's what I told Vic.
That's what I tell you.
Okay, so everybody.
Wait, we got off topic there.
Yeah, that happens.
Sorry.
Okay, so at the moment, I've got this Greenworks lineup. I have the 48-inch Optimus stand-on mower. Now, I tell ya, it's really cool, right? You can actually mow. You can mow and have a conversation to someone next to you.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Now, I haven't done any hardcore mowing with it. I've mowed my own lawn. It's got a beautiful cut. What some of the challenges I think with this piece of equipment is that it really isn't very comparable user-wise to a petrol unit.
Okay.
It is very jerky. I do think efficiency-wise, I certainly think, and look, there's probably an adapting period.
Yeah.
But certainly, I can see the first month or two of use, you're going to be much more efficient on a petrol stander. Okay. And look, I'm assuming this would go the same for a stand-on as well. But I'm I'm pretty balls deep on some of this battery stuff.
Yeah.
I saw a reveal of the EV Pro stands from Gravely.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait to get my hands on it. If that ever happens. So look, we know most people now in terms of hedge trimmers.
Yeah.
Most, like I think maybe when we started the episode, you might have had like say 20%.
Maybe.
20% of contractors were probably using a piece of battery
Actually,
equipment.
look, if we're talking about Australia wide, I would say less than that.
Yeah, but like, where do you reckon it's at now? Because I reckon it's well and truly 50% now.
You reckon 50%?
I reckon
is running like one or more pieces.
At least one piece.
Okay,
yeah.
I'd say you're pretty. Yeah, I'd say. Actually, no, I wouldn't, because there's still a lot of old school guys in the market that will not change. Like, they don't see the value.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're talking about 50%, I mean, you really, like, there is a lot of contractors that they might still be using two-stroke whippersnippers.
Yeah.
But they have that steel battery saw, or they have the, Makita hedge trimmer, or what have you. It is way more mainstream now than what it was a year ago. If you have a look at the jump that we've made in a year and a half.
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine the next year and a half.
Yeah, the first battery piece of equipment I got, and I recommend to everyone, is a battery blower. That changed my life and opened my eyes, mate.
For me, it's a hedger.
Well, I evolved into a hedger, and I have to admit, like, I probably never would use another petrol hedger unless I was dropping some serious shit. I do think that, I find that my battery hedger, so I keep my battery hedger for like my real slick, like nice hedges and things like that. And I feel like the tip speed is really nice. And then I've got like a big bushy multi-tool that has like probably one of the most heavy duty gearboxes on it that I've ever used. And I just use that to fucking just take on everything. And the boys have thrashed theirs as well. So, I don't know. I still don't really want to push battery gear. I don't know why, because I know a lot of people do. I just feel like sometimes I feel like it's kind of still in its infancy, and I love it, and I don't want to break it.
Yeah, look, I know...
and I shouldn't.
Look, it seems more fragile, but... Mate, honestly, like, when you're talking about spark plugs and, spark plug leads and, air filters that are sticking out, like, let's say you were travelling down the road and a two-stroke whippersnipper fell off the rig as opposed to a battery skin. I reckon the battery skin's going to pull up way better. Yeah. It's just a fucking motherboard.
Look, I think, to be honest, I think you're 100% right, because I'm thinking of all the times that I've dropped batteries and shit like that. And I actually dropped a Husqvarna battery on the adjustable screw on a trailer. Yeah. And it fucking hit, and it went through the battery, and it just stuck in there.
Oh,
I just pulled it off, plugged it in, and away we go. Like, it still works. It's not watertight. There's a big gaping hole in it. But look, I just think sometimes my perception is too old school. I think maybe I should come up with time. Especially, like, I'm demoing stuff and testing stuff now, and like, I'm putting it through the shit.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't be afraid. Man.
So what we might do first is we might just run over some new stuff that's come out since our last discussion. Now, obviously, Greenworks has been around, but they got this new 82 volt commercial range.
Yeah.
We're gonna just probably focus first on the lineups, right?
Yeah.
So if you go onto the Greenworks Australia website, there's a really extensive lineup here. So you've obviously got your whippy, you got saws, you got a power cutter here. Is that like a concrete cutter?
That's a concrete cutter, yeah.
You have a 21 and a 25 inch self-propelled mower. You got a dedicated hand hedge trimmer. We've got a 30 inch here.
Yeah.
Now this is going to debut in our market. Probably. I believe it was going to debut like maybe a week from now.
Okay.
So not only this, guys, that we've got a 32 inch stand-on mower here. Now, when we're talking about the Greenworks brand, like they've done their research.
Yeah.
Now this 32-inch. Now this is where maybe the bearded lawnsman and I are going to have some conflict here, because this is going to compete with the V-Ride. Do you reckon? Talk to me. Talk to our audience.
Look, I think it's a good concept. I do think that a 32 battery is a cool thing, but I don't know. It's still a new concept, so I don't know how well it's going to do.
Yeah.
And
so
it's
you're
still
talking
a big
about.
price tag.
Okay, so I'm going to put it on you here, right?
Yeah, put it on me.
So with a retail price, look, with a revealed retail price of around 25 grand for this 32 battery stand on, and the V-Ride 32 coming in at around 17, surely you have to think that's competitive.
Not at all.
Okay.
Well, most people are buying Wrights and Gravely. Well, they were buying Wrights and Graveleys when they were comparable prices. And they would say that price was one of the biggest factors that they went with.
Okay, good point.
So
good point.
I think realistically for guys, and look, it's a $25,000 piece of equipment that potentially, may fail. Like they're not old in the market. So like V-Rides have been around for a long time, a lot longer than these. So,
but with a 5-year, 2,000 hour warranty.
Yeah.
Now I've heard directly.
Is it limited or is it an actual?
I've heard directly from Gary Harvey, who is the rep for Greenworks, that warranty covers everything.
Okay.
If your battery fucks up, if blade motor fucks up, if realistically the only time, like he said, mate, if they haven't thrown it off a cliff or thrown it into a river or something, it'll be warranted.
Can you open it up so we can see the specs on it?
Yeah, but I just don't know how much these, like it says 8 kilowatt. I don't really know what the fuck that means.
I guess.
Look, the battery mower that I have has they market it as an 8-hour runtime.
Yeah.
What they should be telling you is it's an 8-hour runtime on the lowest blade speed.
Okay.
Now, I cut my lawn on the lowest blade speed, and I don't believe that I didn't need any more power.
Yeah. So I think on a 32, that's probably quite insignificant.
No.
You probably get a.
No, so I don't think that this mower has, like, I think it's more like 4 to 6 for this one.
Okay.
Rather than 6 to 8.
Yep.
But, like, this is what I'm telling you, people. Like, if you have a contract that's like a school or a retirement village where this mower would potentially stay on site,
Yeah.
it just makes all the fucking sense in the world.
The reason I wanted you to look at the specs was a lot of people talk about the 32, the thin tyres, and with the V-Ride, that's another advantage of the V-Ride. You can put 36-inch tyres on it, and you still are like 33.
So something
33. So 33 inches.
Something that's a little concerning, my brother.
What is it?
I'm just looking at an image, and this wheel stance is wider than the deck.
Yeah.
From the image.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't brought up the specs yet. Now, that is a fail.
Yeah. So the deck width is 32 inches, they're saying.
Cutting speed 16
Cutting
k's.
speed's pretty quick, yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
Charge time 3 hours, up to
5 hours.
So it does up to 7 acres on the lowest speed.
Imagine mowing 7 acres on a 32.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Okay, so we're not able to see.
Is that all the specifications there are?
That's it, mate. We're not actually able to see the total width.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit concerned about this,
does hang
my
out,
brother.
doesn't it?
It's coming out like at least a BBC worth.
Yeah, and some BBCs are a bloody big BBC.
Oh yeah, man.
So that'll be interesting to get it. We'll have to get a mate in, and he can put his BBC against that. Did you notice that?
I can put my little clit against it, eh?
my little underground soldier. Have you noticed anything on the 48? Did you even look at that? That hasn't come up. You're gonna.
What do you mean? Did I notice anything?
No, did you notice that on the 48? So it's a 48-inch deck.
Okay.
Did you put your clit against the tyre and see if it sticks out?
So the footprint and the wheelbase are very similar. Now, look, the reason why that is a negative, and I think some people mentioned it on social media, on my reel or whatever I posted. What the challenge with that is that when you're sort of coming up against fence lines and stuff like that, it's a little bit difficult to sort of get your cutting edge right up against, you know, and if you actually have a look at some mowers, the way that the deck is offset, so the 42 right is like really offset.
Yeah. The
Super S is also offset. There are a couple of offset decks.
Yeah.
It actually makes it really easy to get into those, you know, really hard up against a fence or around a tree or what have you. So they're like kind of really cool deck features that don't seem to be applied in this lineup. Now, we'll move away from those machines and continue on because there's like 3-page lineup here now.
Yeah, it's a huge lineup from Greenwax.
What the fuck is that?
Oh my god!
I thought it was a drone.
It's a spaceship.
It's an Earth auger.
It's an electric. It's an electric pegging machine.
They really need to have the rest of that tool on there
so we know what's going on.
It just looks like a green handlebar mess.
You can see one of those in a porno in like the next 6 months.
Oh, dude, have you ever seen? Sidebar.
I've seen it.
Have you guys ever seen like
the tongue chainsaw
and the DeWalt?
Reciprocating saw.
The dildo. I wanted to make one, right? I wanted to make one, and Vicky was like, it will never be allowed in the bedroom. And I was like, but just think about it. And she's like, I've thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought about it and it's not happening. And I'm like, but look at the power.
You're looking at sex toys like I look at motors. Look at the horsepowers on that.
So
that'd blow me ring apart.
I could just imagine you with one of them just going like, gah, gah, gah.
Just choking myself.
Now, okay, so we have telescopic pole hedger. Now, I'm just going to click on this. I don't believe, I have to have a look. I don't believe they have a multi-tool in their lineup. Now, we're going to get to that. Now, I'm looking at this telescopic pole hedger, right? And because I'm a little bit of a hater with this stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I think the extra girth on the handles, like you know, like Still and Husky, they have dedicated ones. Ego has one. I found when you're using them as a chainsaw, it's all right.
Yeah.
You know, like you got a little bit of extra meat in your hands.
Chainsaws are awesome.
But using these things as hedge trimmers, like fair enough if you do like heaps of mad high stuff. You get a telescopic one, you know.
This works really well for facing up walls of hedges.
But I think it's so much of a specialty.
Yeah.
Like I think if you take a look at some of the other dedicated battery hedge trimmers that are in the market, they're just so comparable to what we've been using for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And they're just really nice to use. Yeah. Like, I don't know if that design can really get any better. Do you agree?
No, I'm pretty with you on that. I do use it from time to time, but it is, like you said, a little bit of a niche-y kind of thing.
For everyday use, you know?
For everyday use. And it's bulky. It's a bulky tool to have on board all the time.
One thing I kind of love, bros, and sisters, is what they have here is they have a dedicated short range pole hedger.
Yeah, okay.
Now, what I love about this is I think this design, so everyone should go and have a look at it, Gen 2 short pole hedger trimmer. This should supersede the handheld hedge trimmer.
Yeah, I agree. I think
now, maybe it's a little bit long in total.
Yeah.
For some of the particular stuff that people are doing. But this type of design is so nice on your arms.
Yeah.
Compared to...
And on your back too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, you can snap that over. Like, even with low stuff, you can snap it over. You still got good visuals.
Can you just... I know what you mean, but can you just... For people who are watching,
you're doing
can you just explain what a snap over is?
So if you're doing, say, a hip height hedge, you can articulate the hedger over.
Articulate, that's the one.
And you can do the back of that hedge. You still got good vision, and then you can articulate it again, and do the top, and you can do the face, and you're not bending over like. Yeah, I sometimes, like, I know the way that some people do their hedges is they get really into that hedge, and it's kind of cool. But I would rather be able to just articulate that head over and run the back edge. I know, like, it's just one of those things with experience. Like, you can still get a nice edge at the back, and realistically, no one's really seeing it. Unless it's like a full garden with only one hedge around the edge, and then maybe you take a little bit more care.
But look, I know what you mean. Like, if you're doing a ball hedge, from one face, you're able to articulate the hedge, and you're pretty much getting 75% of that hedge without even having to move.
Yeah, that's it.
Position. So, we're just gonna head over to the next page. So they do have a dedicated stick edger. There's a dedicated pole saw, which we've chatted about, along with that hedge trimmer. Now,
the utility vehicles.
These fucking utility vehicles, bros. Like, I don't really know what the difference is between all of them. One's got a cab, one doesn't. One seems to have a little bit more power. But these things, like, seriously, who do I have to gob around here to get one of them?
Yeah, they're pretty cool, man.
I don't have a need for one in my business, obviously, but... Like, can you imagine on the 40 acres or the village, like, you put some equipment defender racks, you can do all this shit and you send the bloke off for the day.
Yeah.
These things make a ton of like, I think, positive contributions to any business.
Yeah.
Not your typical mowing contractor. I'm talking people who are doing wide range.
Yeah. So I would use it as a spray rig. So that's actually what I see local to you, not to me, but locally there's guys rolling around with like the little, what are they? They're fucking, I forget the name of them.
Four-wheelers?
No, not four-wheelers, like that.
UTV?
Yeah, UTV, whatever you want to call it. But there was a specific one I was thinking of. Yeah, doesn't matter.
Polaris,
that's it. They're rolling around in those with spray tanks on the back.
Yeah, oh, for sure, man.
Which is good.
Now, can I just say something? We're going to move on to Ego, just because Ego has extended their range since we've done really any Ego content. And one thing that I learned, just sort of being behind it a little bit, is, Ego, for example, what they're doing, because, people are questioning Ego a lot now, and they're like, well, okay, there's other brands making a push, and I'm not going to beat around it. Yeah. It's Greenworks, it's Crest, it's Pelling.
Yeah,
it's all of,
hasn't Crest rolled in with the fucking force.
We'll get there, but there has been a big influx, right? Yeah. Now, Ego is kind of more like, they're really your household name at the moment, and that's not to discredit them against contractors. I just mean household as in everyone knows Ego.
Yeah.
One thing that Ego is able to do that Greenworks, and I would probably say most of these other brands don't do, is that the equipment in the American market actually gets modified for the Australian market. Yeah. Now, the self-propelled and push mower range for Ego, Barry Crowhurst has them modified for the Australian market so that we can cut below 35 mil.
Yeah.
Greenworks and some of these other brands, they have not been able to make those changes for the Australian market. So, look, as much as I think the lineup of the Greenworks is fantastic, because it really is. It is a fantastic lineup.
Huge lineup.
It's a huge lineup, and it's a pretty good lineup. Before we move away from Greenworks, I think these are the two negatives. One, They don't have a multi-tool. And we've said it from day one. The best way to dip your toes into the battery market is to get yourself a multi-tool.
Yeah.
So it's a huge drawback.
And
And the other point about some of the equipment not being modified for Australia just might not suit. So if a mower is only going to cut at 35 mil, you know, that might not suit anyone in WA.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And it's only going to suit, you know, I think you'll be okay with your homeowners. You know, there'll be contractors, you know, will be okay to a certain point. But if, you know, you're looking at something like Ego, they've made those changes for us.
You know what, too? Like, you know, rolling into trade tools or into total tools, I should say, and seeing them both side by side, they're gonna become fierce competitors. And I think in the end, the people who will benefit are the contractors. I think they're coming up against each other. So they're trying to push into dealers, but you know, in places like trade tools and that, like
something I learned, everybody, that I don't think I talked about publicly, was that so it's Total Tools that you're actually talking about.
Yeah, Total Tools.
That the Greenworks range is in. However, it's not the 82 volt range.
Oh, okay.
The 82 volt range is going through a dealer network.
Oh.
And I think that is great for the dealers and it's great for the contractors, because as handy as it is to roll into a Total Tools and pick up a piece of equipment, there is no backup and support really for OPE. Your dealer network is really going to stand behind it because that's their actual business.
Yeah.
You know, they make X amount on the sale, but really getting that customer to come through the doors is where they really make their money.
Yeah. I think Ego have sort of tried to combat that with like their commercial hotline and stuff like that. But
there's things
I do know what you mean. But yeah, it's funny walking in and seeing one side of the store is sort of lime green and the other side of the store is lime green. I'm like, ooh, shit.
Now, look, with the Ego product, with the product range, something that's been added since our discussion is obviously the zero turns.
Yeah.
Now, the zero turns, look, they don't fascinate me too much because it is a domestic product. I do think that this can make sense for contractors.
Have you looked at the Fab Deck one?
Haven't.
Can you put a catch pro on it?
Look, I haven't really sussed it out properly, but regardless of whether it's a Fab Deck, I don't have a ton of confidence in that fabricated deck.
Oh, okay.
The Greenworks, it is a proper build.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the machine that I've got in here, the welds are beefy, the build is beefy. It has...
I got to see...
I don't know what gauge deck it is, but it's a heavy deck. Like, they didn't fuck around.
Yeah.
The Ego product, it isn't aimed at the commercial market the same way that the Greenworks are coming in.
Yeah.
Like that. Ego is building toward that. So,
and so Greenworks has been here for a long time.
Greenworks
they haven't made a move, and they've fucking gone hard.
They didn't have a distribution for the 82 volt.
As soon as I saw them, their stand in the fucking US was massive. Like, so was Ego. Like, the Ego one was just as big, but the Greenworks one, because I think it was I don't know, they just built a lot of hype around the product, and they were real flashy. But Ego, man, they were pretty solid. They had like a Mario Kart style setup. But as soon as I saw the Greenworks one, I was like, yeah, they're fucking coming in strong.
So I'm just having a look at, it's like a 52-inch Ego here, ZT5205EL is the model we're talking about. I just happened to notice, like, on this deck, you know, you have some things on there. You got wear pads and stuff, which are pretty cool. That is a fucking big wear pad, man.
It's huge.
Like, You couldn't wear that thing down, eh?
I'd probably knock the fucking thing off.
What I
Before I
actually,
wore it up.
you know what I find the most hilarious thing about this mower right now?
What's that?
It actually says triple blade on it.
Oh.
Like, it's just funny that
Because
like,
of
once you get to a certain width, you really got to use 3 blades. So it's kind of like not a feature.
Imagine that.
But,
Fucking like
but they found it so much to be a feature that they actually made a sticker.
26-inch blades. Fucking carved them into samurai swords.
So, yeah, like I said, and I forget the bloke's name. He's a good guy, and he follows us too, likes us. But he just got an Ego zero turn with a dedicated bagger.
Yeah,
and he said that it's going to work great in his business, and I think it's really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, look, I've seen a few even Ryobis rolling around schools and things like that. So I'm guessing that these sort of things are going to take over because no school wants to really spend upwards of what's the
wall that bagger is mega high.
Yeah, it's really high, but
that's a long way for that grass to go, dude.
But if it's a powered bagger,
I don't know if it's powered. If you take the reins, maybe I can figure it out.
Yeah, so I was just saying with schools, they're not going to invest. Say if you're looking at a 48, what are they worth? $45,000. I really doubt that they're going to invest that sort of money in on a zero turn. So, that's a good feature.
So the
Ego
shit.
Yeah, the Ego website, you can fucking kickflip the machine and see what's going on underneath, on top, around and around.
Can I also say, now we're going to do an episode with Gary Harvey about Greenworks, just because he's the rep, he's the one. But he was freestyling some stuff to me, which I thought was pretty cool. So in the dash panel of the Greenworks, you can do all sorts of computerized shit, and you can get an app to your phone, and it will actually tell you. So if you've got a crew that's out there using the mower, you can actually tell from off your phone if it is mowing or if the blades are engaged.
What?
You can also it's got like a kill switch, so no one will be able to start it.
No way.
So you can actually theoretically tell if your workers are like just driving around on it or if they're actually physically cutting.
That's pretty slick.
So there's some pretty cool stuff that comes along with this battery, just new technology, which may be incorporated into, piston units, once they, but I do think all OEMs eventually, they're just going to go this way anyway.
Well, hopefully we can get Baz in too and he can update us on all, because I know that Ego have got their shit dropping like it's hot. Like I got to get hands on with the Ego stuff in the US, all the new commercial stuff, and it's fucking pretty cool.
Have a look at this fucking...
That's what they had. The E-steer technology, that's what they had. It was like Mario Kart. I call that a pencil neck geek. A pencil neck geek.
Have a look at the fucking pencil neck.
You know what? If that came out of the floorboards, imagine that, like it came up, like you sat down and it automatically came up.
I'd cut it off and then sit on it.
Oh, yes. I was thinking about putting a dildo on the front so you could that's how you power the machine. You were just like...
Suck it. God's sakes.
Friction powered. And if you're working in a team of two, you'd have one just there, just trying to fucking power it.
I just don't even know. Now,
what is wrong with us?
We're just fucked. Okay, so the E-steer... look, I think the biggest thing that points out to me with this, this is really cool because you got a steering wheel, but it drives like a zero turn.
Yeah.
I think what I just hate about this is the deck. Like I can just tell it's a rounded press deck, and the way that that's hung. See these linkages
the
here.
Struts, yeah.
That's not going to be good for any contractor environment.
Okay.
Maybe a school or a village.
Yeah. Okay.
I think once you start banging around on that's going to just fuck up real bad. This particular mower is not. It's not going to be marketed toward contractors. And I think eventually they're going to come out with stuff for us.
Oh, definitely.
Now they do have a commercial series here. We're just going to go through the lineup because realistically, when we spoke about this in our first episode, they never had any true commercial equipment.
And Baz was totally open with that. He said besides one, which is Palaniuk.
Palunk. J'adore.
I think he said that they were the only credible full commercial spec machines that were on the market at the time.
But since then they have come out with
definitely
what is it, the TX 300? We're running
3600.
So is that the carbon shaft?
Yeah.
How do I not remember?
Yeah, carbon shaft. When I took over your business, I took yours too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I can't. I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
No, well, Rusty, he basically claimed it anyway.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
I'm just the dude that drives around and does nothing, right?
So they, and they all were running, most of their commercial stuff, all their commercial stuff was running through the Link system. Now, on the way is a completely different setup, and I think they've made the right choice.
So the Link system, for everyone that isn't up with it, is the umbilical cord.
Sorry, I should have said that.
Which has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the skins are very light, but the cons are that you literally have like this big flaccid cord.
Anyone who's ever asked me about the umbilical cord stuff is, look, I don't care about wearing the backpack, but if I had a choice, I would rather have a direct cartridge on the back end of a machine.
Absolutely. Now, something that I think I've found with the Greenworks, they've got 4 amp batteries. They're kind of heavy.
Yeah, okay.
They've got an 8 amp, which you couldn't use
directly in the back of the machine.
Well, I mean, you could, but like I couldn't, or I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Certainly not in a hedge trimmer. Possibly in a blower, because it's not like you...
What's the balance like?
Well, the battery is bloody heavy, mate. Yeah. So, and look, I think Ego batteries are pretty big and heavy too.
Yeah.
If you want to go back to our Ego episode, Baz breaks down the technology, so there is a reason for their shape. It's a patented design.
We're good. Hopefully, when Gary comes on, he's got the same information.
Yeah, Gary Harvey, that is.
Yeah.
So, the Ego range, it has grown. There has been... like we've discussed in the past, I think they're going to be a company that will evolve for our market.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool considering that, really the volumes, the main markets that they focus on is the North American market.
And it's really cool that they're open to, Australian options.
Yeah, I think it is, and it's very important as well. If they want to do any damage here, they have to have equipment that's going to suit our climate. Yeah. So, anyway, look, a new brand that's made a splash in the last week or two, and is going to unfold. I think look, they're definitely coming on strong. It's Cress. Now we also do have a new slapdick in the slapdick nation. That bloke down in Camden.
Yeah.
If everyone follows me on Instagram, they'll know why I'm pissed at the moment.
Yeah. It was a cheap shot.
Yeah, I got cheap shotted. Now I'm no stranger to cheap shots, but I mean, I kept this dude, at bay.
Yeah. Out
of respect. Well, not even out of respect. Honestly, I just did it because I was like, look, I've been starting heaps of shit.
Yeah.
Let's not make things worse. And then all of a sudden I get cracked from behind. So we'll leave that go. But we will talk about the brand Crest. We won't hold it against them too much.
No.
But look, these guys are making a huge splash with the latest technology that, from what I hear, other battery brands, they don't even understand this technology.
Oh. Okay.
So I'm not going to get too far into it because I'll make myself look like a douchebag.
Now you got a little invite to the Cress Open Day there at Noosa.
Yeah, not from Cress.
Mr. VIP.
No, don't even be like that. My local dealer got an invite who was sending one of his employees, and he said, "Sure, Ben, I can get you in, you can go along."
Yeah, I know a bunch of people who messaged me and they're like, "Oh, are you going?" And I'm like, "Nah, didn't get an invite."
That's right.
I'm not a dealer.
I don't know, was it like an invite thing or could the public go? Because I said
it was by invite. They invited, so I don't know how far I can go. I got no fucking
It's just all the dealers.
It's all the dealers.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no, potential dealers.
Potential dealers and a lot of Husqvarna dealers.
Well, a lot of... Yeah, so are we just going to spill the beans or
Just
what?
fucking spill it.
So the story goes, it's not really controversial.
No.
But Crest has sort of come in and I guess taken some really big key Husqvarna, personnel.
Yeah.
Whether they just be reps, managers, whoever the hell they are. And so that's kind of how they're going to build that market.
Yeah. I think it's a wise decision from them. Like, these guys are already established in the industry.
Well, they know their shit. It's a specialized market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I have no ties to Husqvarna.
If I was Husqvarna, I'd be like, ooh, that's fucked. But I'm not Husqvarna, so
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So look, Crest, I'm just on their website now. I don't know that much about the brand. I think Crest has a whole brand of power tools, correct?
Yeah.
Now, I also think, doing a little bit of background digging, they might be the same manufacturer as like Milwaukee AEG and stuff.
Okay.
So, they probably have a fairly large lineage of batteries and tools. What concerns me about Crest is the lineup.
Yeah.
Now, we have spoken about, I've spoken about this on social media, just on threads. But look, they've got a commercial hedge trimmer here, and it's just a hand hedger unit.
And that's it.
And I just think the Aussie way, the Aussie contractor way, I think to get people into your brand, it's just a fail to not have a dedicated pole hedger or a multi-tool. And look, I don't know, maybe I'm just completely wrong, but I don't understand how a contractor is supposed to invest without a lineup.
I 100% agree, especially when it comes to something like hedging, because no two jobs are the same. You can go to one and you'll be perfectly fine and suited to use a hand hedger, but the next job you may have to just pass on it because
like when I even
who the
think,
fuck wants to get up on a ladder and use a hand hedger, even if it does have a really long bar, which it's a 63 centimeter bar. I feel like it's just a little unsafe.
I honestly just feel like you're taking a step back 15 years.
Yeah. I know that like some people really enjoy using hand hedgers for
your little buxes and look, we know the Makita hedger.
Yeah.
Lots of people get amongst it because of the blade ratio, cuts we've all seen it.
Yeah, really good.
But let's face it, it's a small market.
Yeah.
If you're looking at making a big splash in this new concept battery world, I think it really lets you down to not have the pole hedger or a multi-tool in the lineup. And I tell you what, dealers as well, they have to look at it and just be like, how can I take this brand on?
Yeah. It'd be it would be good to get them in hand just to feel what they're like.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's strange. They've got a dedicated stick edger, but they don't have a dedicated pole hedger.
Yeah, so that just screams America.
Yeah.
So Greenworks had something similar.
Yeah.
They had like a dedicated stick edger.
Yeah.
And look, it doesn't mean shit to us that they're catering for the American market because it does make the most sense. That's
and
where
the
volumes are.
crossover is huge. So developing a new product just for us, we're 1 or 2% of the market share. So realistically, from a business point of view, they're really only doing it for a small group of people.
And look, but to tell you what, like this 1 or 2% share of a global market,
it's not small. Yeah,
it's a lot bigger than that now.
You reckon?
Yeah, I do. I was listening to Aussie Lawn Stars that had Paul Sheehan on.
Yeah,
I haven't been able to get through the whole episode. I've just bloody Yeah, I'm getting there.
I'm on it right now. I've probably got like 20 minutes left.
And Paul Sheehan talks about market share
Yep.
a little bit, and certainly in their case it's like up around 10%.
Sidebar, he does also talk about the X1 deck that was fucking booted out of Australia, and they were asked to put the X4 deck back on.
Yeah, so did we clear this up?
I don't know if we did.
Because
So this comes from our big deck episode. Now I know you got a few messages, I got a few messages, and to be
I probably got more
honest,
than a few.
Yeah, and look, we fucking love it. Like, pull us up if we say something that's wrong.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll just go back in time for the listeners. So obviously we did our mower deck episode,
It's
and
called big decks.
and we talked about the Hustler VX4 deck and how it doesn't cut and clear, and realistically that was very true, but it had been corrected for our market. So if you have a VX4 deck, there is no need to send me a screenshot of it cutting grass.
Marky from IMO was straight onto that because he just got his Super Z.
And let me tell you, the pic that he sent me was fucking ace, bro. Like,
it was nice.
He was like in a big field, So just to clear that up, we, and it's on me. I was wrong about that.
It's on us.
We're
together.
There were some complications, but it did get rebuilt for the market. All right, back to Crest. So
Yeah.
look, it's pretty basic lineup. Hey guys,
It really is. It's like one or two of.
So in landscaping tools, you've got hedge trimmer, chainsaw, you've got a blower.
How are we going for lawnmowers?
I'll take a look at the lawnmowers because this may be the only reason to get into Crest.
Yeah, okay.
Like you might run all your two strokes and stuff still, or possibly, you've invested in a different battery brand. Let me give you a scenario that makes a bit of sense. If you're running any of the Bush Ranger battery stuff right now, they don't have a push mower.
Not yet.
Well, I don't even know if there's one in the works.
Well, I mean, hopefully.
Now they do have this little toy thing that I don't know who would ever use. I use one. I use one, but you just wouldn't look. I use it sometimes around here.
Yeah.
But it's not a serious mower.
Yeah.
So maybe if that was the case, maybe you would take a look at Crest and you would buy this one piece.
Yep.
But like if you were running Ego, like I don't know why you wouldn't just stick with them.
Yeah.
Apparently the still.
The still. I actually looked at them this morning. They also have a
Apparently the push mowers are shit.
The push mowers don't cut low enough.
Yeah. Okay.
So and they a lot of the time the still dealers will not put a spacer in, and they will not warrant that. So, but what's the cut height on the Crest? Does it have the? Doesn't have the cut height.
It doesn't have the cut height, and I think most brands probably will not specify.
Yeah, okay.
Just because it's fucking irrelevant to them.
Don't give a fuck.
But look, the biggest thing about Crest is obviously their battery technology.
Yeah.
And their superior charge times. So we got 8-minute charge times.
That's huge.
What the fuck is that?
The robo mowers are pretty kooky looking, but
What the fuck is that?
but they run on GPS, so there's no wires necessary. So they're yeah, I think they might be credible if they put them in. I think that's a better system than the wire system.
PLP have a fucking system like this.
Now look, this sort of technology, I don't know if it's the same, but I saw Tim he does Total Tools. No, Tool Time with Tim. Fuck, what's the name of his tool? Something. Yeah,
Tim the Mower Man?
Tim the Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, why don't you just say that instead of fucking tripping me out with all these other names? I thought you were talking about Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Fuck, sorry. Oh,
Fuck, our childhood was the best, eh?
So much better than.
Do you reckon there's like young pups out there just like, what the fuck are these dudes talking about?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
If you haven't wanked over Jonathan Taylor Thomas,
How good was his hair? Always. He had like a fucking bob or an undercut.
And he was Simba as well.
Yeah, I tried to do it.
It means no worries.
I was always Pumbaa. No, but he demoed a Dyson. Did you see that? He paid like $2,400 out of his own pocket for this Dyson, and the fucking thing, he said it did a fantastic job when it was like doing like vacuuming and stuff, but it was fucked. The mapping was cooked.
Yeah.
And it couldn't go back to its dock a few times. Who doesn't want to have a good dock now and again? But, you know.
Those dudes down in Camden are just constantly docking.
Fuck.
Yeah, how is good old Timmy, eh? He sends me a text about ISO tunes and I'm like, bro, come on. It's Tim the Marman here.
Yeah.
Don't order from the website. Just reach out to me. He's like, nah, it's all good, I got it. And I'm thinking like, Tim, come on. You've worked your way up now. You've got...
got what, fucking 1 million followers?
Now, I'm not saying like I just launch people free stuff, right?
Yeah.
But Tim, come on.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Timmy. Timmy.
And he doesn't ask me for anything.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Well, look, maybe that's how he wants to do things, and that's fair enough.
If I was him, I'd be like, man, if I had his audience and notoriety and like anyone reached out, I'd be like, 10 grand.
You fucking Brian from Brian's Lawn Maintenance.
Whatever.
Give me fucking $700 to wear your hat.
I don't think we talked about that publicly.
Whoops.
So, anyway,
probably should get the time on that and cut that out. Beep, beep. Fucking, there we go.
So, yeah, these Crest robo mowers, I mean, you know, like, I'm just not the man to talk to about it, but, you know, they look... they look funny.
Yeah.
But look, we know that there is going to be a market share for something like this.
Yeah.
And certainly not having a boundary wire is like a huge,
yeah.
You know, huge positive. So we're going to get quickly to the... I'm trying to get to like all the charging and battery information, but it's not like in the menu. So,
yeah.
Do you have anything else to discuss while I just go and kill myself?
Look, sorry, it's red on white. The website starts with a K, and the rest is in the name. Get it? Fuck yeah! Sorry, I've had a lot of caffeine this morning. I'm trying to lose weight, you see. But we're going to check out Pellic next.
Okay, so
this little episode. So before I rocked up, Ben's like, let's do a quick episode on some of the new battery stuff that's rolled through. I'm like, yeah, no worries, man. Fucking here we are 2 hours later.
All right, well, we can wrap this up. So here we go. We're on the Pellic website. I'm just going to say Pellic with an Australian accent.
Yeah.
And everyone can just deal with it.
P to the motherfucking Elec.
Now, cool website, by the way.
Yeah. Totally contradictive to what you've said before. Nature is our driver.
Just trying to get to some of the products. Holy fuck!
Yeah.
What the hell do they...
Dude, that's how they started. They're in agriculture.
Oh my gosh, they have a straddle multifunction tractor.
Fuck.
I just buy it because they said straddle.
Yeah, look.
Where the fuck is the OPE? You're going to have to cut this shit out.
I think we just have to rewind. There's the batteries, cutting, pruning. That's us there. That's what you need. Maintenance and weeding. Just start clicking on things.
Fuck these cunts, eh? I wouldn't even... I couldn't... Like, I was kind of impressed with the website, and then when I clicked on, like, outdoor power equipment, and the first thing that comes up with pruning shears, I'm like, man, I can't. Just give me a fucking whippersnipper, you dogs.
Oh my god.
What the fuck is this? Poles for pruning?
Dude, we need to wiki walk our way out of this website. Just go straight to the Bushranger one.
Alright, now we are going to talk quickly about some common brands and some of the things that they've been doing, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's a shame Pellic is pissed me off right now. Because look, they do have superior equipment.
Fuck yeah.
And there is some line up there, but the website's pissed me.
Look, that mower, I've spoken to a bunch of people about that mower. The price tag is there, but apparently it's good. Like, it's a really good mower. It's got that pressed deck shape as well.
It does, yeah.
So I'm thinking that kind of would add value, but your $6,000 is a big price tag. But if it does what it says it does, it's got the caster wheels. The charge and run times are pretty good. So
awesome charge and run times.
So yeah, I mean it's a credible product, and like hopefully I've got the Pelnick guys coming to the open day, so maybe we can tee him up to come in and talk a bit more about it.
The first thing I'm going to do is walk up to one of them and sack whack them for not having a better website.
Why would they not separate the fucking combine harvesters and the fucking whippersnippers? Like, obviously they're the same. Like, they can afford to have two websites.
And they have pruning shears. Like, did you see a whippersnipper at all?
No, I saw backpack batteries. Look, we're going to get more messages of people like, can't you use a fucking website, you fucking bunch of dickheads?
Yeah, well, we're fucking on air. Now, just to backtrack a little bit, so Husqvarna and Stihl are probably your leaders.
Yeah,
I think, and obviously you've got a ton of support there for Ego.
Yeah,
Husqvarna and Stihl, I really think now, just so that everyone is aware, like I have no relationship with Husqvarna or Stihl, but for anyone that's looking to get into the battery market, they're definitely two brands to take a look at. They've got really good lineups. The mower side of things is, probably where they're lacking.
Yeah, okay.
I think as a business, what you've probably got to look at and just see how important it is for you is whether you want a zero turn or a ride-on to go along with your lineup. So the reason why I love Greenworks so much at the moment, like when I say I love them so much, I love the concept of it, is because they've got the zero turns there.
Yeah, in the higher spec.
And they've got a bunch of different models.
It's a lot. So even on the website, most of them have two versions, of an 8 and a 16 kilowatt version. I don't know if that's just the different battery packs that are inside.
It'll be your horsepower equivalent.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So apparently whatever I've got is supposed to be like a 35 horse equivalent, which is a fuckload.
Yeah.
Like you don't really get, like you get machines with, the big blocks and stuff like that. But man, usually around your 23s, your 27s is kind of pretty well normal. So, so for anyone that is, taking a more serious look, that's something to consider. Okay, do you want to go with something that will have a credible zero turn? Or do you want to go with a brand, let's say like a Milwaukee?
Yeah.
Where you run their power tools. Yes, they have some OPE. If we need a zero turn, maybe we can add a mean green.
Yeah.
There's things to weigh up.
Now, I've had a chat with Warwick. He's Jim's guy down in Melbourne. He was the proud winner that I got to announce at Dale's little event. He got the Milwaukee kit, the mower kit, and he used it, sent me some photos. Like he's pretty impressed by it. So that's good. I don't know if he's going to use it in his business or if it's just to keep it home. I don't know if that's how he wants to roll.
And I think anyone that's really looking to explore Milwaukee, go and check out Monster Mowing on TikTok.
Yeah.
He gets accused a lot of not being like a real contractor, but it's the dumbest shit in the world. Like he's a contractor.
Yeah.
Like he mows shit tons
he just
of
does
grass.
he does good content too. Like I think it's pretty funny. He's a controversial dude. He speaks his mind, but
leave all the controversy out of it. Just have a look at like if you want to look at like Milwaukee, Ego, and I think AEG is doing.
Yeah.
Now he's gotten a lot of slack for slagging on Ego, but I think a lot of it was pretty misconstrued. Yeah. Like he still does Ego videos and he still has Ego equipment. So take it as you want, but there's some pretty good comparisons there.
That's it. Yeah.
I
all over that.
with all the power tool brands, this is Makita, Milwaukee, AG, DeWalt, I don't think it's a player, right? Milwaukee, Makita, AG, they're probably three.
Probably, yeah.
I think the only real reasons to get into their OPE is if you already have the batteries and chargers.
Yeah.
I think if you're starting fresh, you're better off looking at more of a dedicated OPE brand.
Yeah.
But once again, even with something like Bushranger, the lineup is not really there.
There's a few pieces, and obviously that they're I'm testing a few new pieces. But yeah, it's still in its infancy. It's getting there, and hopefully, I can influence them to get a few more in the lineup, and who knows what's going to be offered to them from the manufacturers. They're probably looking at other brands and seeing what they're doing, and eventually they'll be like, it's a good idea to develop that and add it to or offer it to the Australian market. So
I'd like to really see them have a really good battery mower.
Okay.
I think it's important.
I do too. I really haven't used a lot of battery mowers, push mowers. Yeah. So actually, going back to the Greenworks thing, the reason I was asking about weights and things like that is because most of the battery equipment that I've seen in regards to zero turns and push mowers and things, the battery equivalent to a petrol is heavier. Now, lots of people talk smack about the weight of 32 petrol units, leaving ruts and things like that on wet lawns. And look, in some cases, it's definitely true. If you're putting a heavier machine on, it's not going to make it any better. Just, it's battery equipment. That's the only draw card. You're going to do worse damage and things like that. So that's another thing to think about.
Well, and
I don't know. It doesn't have the specs. It doesn't have the weight specs or anything on there. So,
like I sort of tried to say at the start of the episode, one thing I've noticed with the battery stand on is just all your fiddly movements. I just tried to go from a grassed area up, say 50 mil onto my driveway into my garage, and on a petrol unit. You'd have a certain amount of revs and you just hold it straight up, boom.
Yeah.
With the battery unit, you're on the lowest, because if you are on that high speed and you hit those hangers, you're going to jerk forward.
Yeah.
Now, what the issue is, because it's a different type of torque, it's instant, even though it's on low. So what's happening is the wheels are just spinning.
Yeah.
And you sort of don't have the revs to kind of do what you need to do. So
it's a little touch, with a variable trigger, on a battery unit. I guess that's sort of the same thing. Sometimes you'll try and feather something and it'll just kick in that extra notch.
Yeah.
And it'll go a bit faster than you expected it to.
If you're using a battery snipper, a good comparison is if you're going around a downpipe.
Yeah.
When you're on a petrol unit, you might be at full revs and then you kind of can relax it and use the momentum that you've already got to get around that downpipe, and then you wind it back up as you're leaving.
Yeah.
When you have battery equipment, even though you do have a variable trigger, it's just really responsive.
It really is, yeah.
And so if you haven't got in touch with that machine yet, you just fucking rip that downpipe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rip it a new gash.
I don't know if it's the same way that you feel, but I feel like battery is really responsive and petrol is quite fluid. So I feel like petrol sort of flows with you a little bit better. But
Absolutely.
I mean, it's all coming along. Every time I try something, and I think that's why I kind of like the Husqvarna stuff that I've used is quite fluid as well. And the Bushranger stuff is quite fluid as well. And that's all I really want, is to feel connected to a machine a bit more. And I guess that's what you're talking about with the battery stander.
Absolutely. Now, you're on the button there, mate. What I wanted to do before we leave the podcast is try and touch base with Shindewa and Echo.
Yeah, I think.
I just want to see if they've made any progress with any of their battery lineups. Now, not having a lot of luck with Shindewa,
See,
and I do believe that Echo.
I think you're right. I think Echo Australia will probably have something.
I think Echo. That doesn't look right.
No, that's not right at all. Now we actually went to a Jim's meetup not too long ago, and they had a bit of the battery stuff there. That was good.
Yeah, all the Briggs guys were there, and
there you go.
So we have now found some battery products from Echo. Now, look, Echo. I love the Echo brand. When I sort of came out in the industry, when I first started, we used a lot of Echo stuff.
Yeah.
They did go down a little, and I think now that they're down more than ever, just with the impact of other brands.
I think so, yeah. And look, I'm a lover too. Like I always ran Shindewa. I always ran it, and I think that's why I gravitate towards the Bushranger stuff, because it has the same feel. But I haven't tried any of the Shindewa or Echo battery gear, which I've tried a little bit of it, but not like...
I tried the Generation 1 stuff.
Because that was something that was...
It was okay. At the time it was okay, but it's well and truly outdated now.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm a little bit disappointed. All you really have here in Echo is 2 variants of a chainsaw and a blower. And look...
There's a few charging options.
It just doesn't seem to be enough. And look, I think that's their biggest downfall. They've really let themselves drop in the market by not innovating.
Or not even supporting the brand. Like, if you go on a website to check something out, you'd expect to see the whole lineup. And we know from personal experience and having the equipment in front of us that there's a bigger lineup than that. They've got more than 2 chainsaws and a fucking blower.
But that's what I mean. Like, I don't reckon that stuff is in... if it's not on their website...
You don't think it's in circulation?
No, I really don't. I reckon that they're in the middle of releasing a new generation or variant.
Well, that could be exciting too. Like, maybe we can...
It could be exciting, but I mean, it just doesn't help a consumer. Like, if you're a diehard Shindewa or Echo user, you're being forced to go and support another brand.
Yeah.
It's true.
And it's true in the case where, like...
It happened to me. I mean, I have always said, I think there's 2 ways to start dipping yourself in this market. One is if you're using a power tool brand, it's fucking easy to go and get yourself a Makita skin or a Milwaukee skin. AEG is probably a little bit... Actually, Makita and AEG might be different in the fact that it's a different voltage, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
So you can't cross over that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so I'm wrong in that sense. But the other reason why I think is a really great reason, and at the moment I think only still maybe Husky and Bushranger are offering this. If you've got a piston multi-tool unit and you're running all your attachments, and you can go out and get a battery skin and run those same attachments, then it makes all the sense in the world. Like, that makes the most sense. And that's what lets brands down like Ego, because there are no piston units.
Yeah.
And, a bunch of other brands. Do you know if Husqvarna has multi-tools that are interchangeable?
I do think they have a multi-tool.
Are they interchangeable with the battery?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't have any of that other stuff. I literally just have 2 dedicated Husqvarna hedges, and they have been... Okay, so they have been good units. I have had to do... Look, one of the motors went... Apparently, there was moisture inside the motor on the head, and I had to fucking replace that. If I knew that it was going to cost me $400 to replace it, I would have paid the fucking $650 for a brand new unit.
Yeah.
I think that is a bit of a failure for that unit. If that unit is properly sealed, like, there shouldn't be moisture and shit. And apparently, like, it's a greaseless system. Some people say you have to grease it.
Oh yeah,
Some
people have cooked their units by opening it up, and it's just never been the same.
Yeah. And look, we know from petrol units, you can blow the fucking seals out on those and you'll never have the same the same quality
I'm
hedger.
a professional seal blower.
You are.
Like, it's just
Pump too
addictive.
hard.
It's addictive, man. You're like, all right, Ben. And Russell was always my gauge, right?
Yeah.
It's like 3 pumps, Ben, 3 pumps. And you just go like 1, 2, 3, and you're like, fuck, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, And then you hear the...
Hey, and that's one thing I love about the Skags is you can't over grease them. You just punch a bunch of grease in and it'll fucking...
And later on, you see like the little vomit.
Yeah, the big your big brown fucking bukkake lips on the other side. It's like ugh.
Diarrhea bukkake.
Yeah, because it's just covered in fucking everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, to be honest, I kind of had enough of this episode.
Yeah. We touched on a lot.
I do want to put something out there to everyone that like I kind of apologise for this episode.
Dude, I think it was a good episode.
We've unpacked a lot, but we didn't go into like mega depth on anything.
Yeah.
But look, I think that the battery stuff is just more prominent than ever right now, and I think it makes all the sense in the world to take a look at brands that are going to be moving forward in the future and offering lineups. I think battery equipment is better for your health. I think it's better for maintenance, and it really makes more sense with your handhelds. Now we know the faces that we know. Sorry, you face certain things with whippersnipper run times and stuff like that, and
blowers run times.
But with your hedges, your saws, your blowers, things, I think it makes all the sense in the world. And I'm encouraging the contractor market to take a look at this stuff.
And look, it can be a good selling point for your business when you go to a retirement village or even to fussy customers and say, look, we use battery equipment. Fucking come fuck with us. We're nice and quiet, and you can push, even though Ben doesn't like it, you can push that eco-friendly schmack talk to them and potentially pick up a customer just on that alone. So
absolutely. Well, we're going to sign out now. We love it when people reach out. So if you have topic suggestions, or if we fucked up and you want to call us out, call us out. It'd be funny if you called us out on a review. That would be funny.
Don't give us a 1-star because that's just a kick in the dick.
No, don't do that.
Give us a 5-star. We haven't really had many new reviews lately, so those really are important for us to move forward as a podcast. So we would love to get some new reviews. And maybe, like, I've got a few things that I could put up as a prize just for some fucking good reviews. And also don't forget to check out our awesome sponsors, Skag, Bush Ranger, Bad Workwear, Muscle Beard, and mullermerch.com.au. Hell yeah.
Until then, I'm at Catch Pro, he's at TBL, and we're out of time.
Peace.